You know that episode of The Office where Saber comes in and takes over Dunder Mifflin, and they're announcing all the policy changes, and Gabe is telling Michael all about them, and they say, consider yourself printer salesman, not paper salesman anymore. And then there's that talking head in Michael's office where he just goes, nope, don't like that. That was this entire game. Welcome back to After the Storm. This episode recapping the Carolina Hurricanes' loss to the St. Louis Blues. I don't even think I want to go too far into this game because it just sucked. That's all it really did. It just sucked. It's tough to even figure out what's going on with this team right now, but they are in a fight for the playoffs, and they just seem like they don't know that they are. And that's, upsetting as a fan. And for me, I've been, preaching patience all year, and that's starting to wear a little bit thin. The four teams right now battling for those two wildcard spots: Philadelphia, the Islanders, the Leafs, and the Canes. Now, if the Leafs ever wake up and figure out, how to play hockey again like they were 2 months ago, the Canes are in some serious trouble. Meanwhile, Philadelphia and the Islanders have just been steady all year, so that looks like one of those two teams is for sure getting in. So that leaves one spot between likely Carolina, Philadelphia, and Toronto. And looking at those two teams, looking at Carolina right now, what's going on, I really don't like Carolina's chances. This team had a really hot start to the season, and then cooled off a bit, and then went back to being hot, and then cold again. And then ever since then, they've just been playing this 500 hockey. And then Dougie Hamilton goes down, and this team just looks completely lost in every aspect of the game. This was like a 6-3. I think the final score was 7-3. I'm not even sure. Thinking back on it right now, because I think I mentally am trying to block this game from my memory. That score doesn't even illustrate what this game was actually like for the Canes. They weren't even close at any point in this game. I talked about it last video. Okay, Mrazek's not the starter. I think that everybody's just got to kind of accept that now. Reimer's earned that role. But this is not the time of year where you can afford to be looking at which goalie's the goalie you need to use. I'm not even going to break down this game because it's just St. Louis won. They kicked the crap out of Carolina. They're the Stanley Cup champions. It's okay. The real bad aspect of this is a loss like this, looking around the league and all those teams that are fighting for that wild card spot or that third spot in the Metro, as the Canes are right now. All those teams are winning, and they're winning consistently, and that does not bode well. A lot of fans were cringing at the sight of the proposed lineup coming into this game for Brendamore. And, I can kind of see why now. For as much crap as we give guys like McGinn and Martinook and Fogle for being in the top six on this team, these are the guys who continue to show up every night. And, that was the case here. Those guys showed up, but the rest of the team didn't. And I'm not going to take any blame away from Peter Mrazek because he absolutely deserves some in this game. He was just not good. I don't even know. His play ever since Reimer really got hot, he's been proving every game out there that he's not the starter for this team. Penalty situations are again still just too much for Carolina. The power play is not working. Nothing is clicking at the moment for this team ever since Hamilton went down. It's I don't know if we can consider the Canes to be a top-tier team like I had them pegged, and a lot of people had them pegged coming into this season. If you lose just one player and all of this falls apart. Dougie Hamilton is not Connor McDavid. He's not Sidney Crosby. Then you go look at the Penguins and realize that I'm pretty sure these guys could have all their sticks taken away and still manage a playoff spot. Hamilton's loss, though, shouldn't be this pronounced. We have Pesce, we have Slavin, we have Gardner, we have Hayden Fleury, who's really come along. And this is getting lost in all this. Is Hayden Fleury, he's actually having a great year. He's showing that he's an NHL level player. And it's all just being lost because of the performance of the team as of late. So as much freaking out as I can do about this game, and trust me, when I originally watched the game and wanted to do the video right after. I was ready to come on here and go full screamy boy about it and be real pissed off, but I'm going to save it for a little while longer. Because there's still lots of time left in the season. There's still lots of time to nail down a playoff spot. They're only 3 points out of that final wild card at the moment. However, the winning has to start now, because the winning has to come between games 75 and 82 of this season, I just don't like the odds that it's actually going to come together. The schedule for the rest of the month is sort of a mixed bag. There's Edmonton in there, who's playing very well at the moment. You've got Dallas, who's a top team. But then you've got some games that are absolutely must-wins. There's a New Jersey game in there. Toronto's not doing so well, but that's going to be a big game for the wild card standings. That's a must-win now because of where the Canes are at. But most importantly, the next game, as the next game is always the most important game coming up in this season, the Arizona Coyotes on Thursday night. Arizona, they themselves sitting in the first wildcard spot in the West. They're not overly performing. They're not as good as they should be, especially since the trade for Taylor Hall. But they're still a good team, and this is, again, I keep saying we're in this territory now where it's got to be these are all must-win games. You've got to get ahead of this now, because you're not going to get ahead of this later on. For that game, I'm pretty sure Mrazek is the most likely starter, although it hasn't been named yet. And the Canes had a more fun-geared practice, I guess. Since the All-Star break and everything, there hasn't been like some relief for the guys since they've come back. So they had like a funner practice, but the message all coming out of it was positive, and that's something we definitely want to see going forward. All the ailments for this team right now, everything can be cured by winning, and that should start on Thursday night in Arizona. Get a win, start moving up that into that wild card spot more solidly. Start doing that right now. So that is going to do it for this video. If you did like the content here, please consider giving a thumbs up, subscribe, share it wherever you'd like. Between here and on Patreon, there's going to be some content coming this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. The Patreon link will be in the description below. Please consider subscribing if you can, and I'll see you guys on the next one.